So here we are at the Gatineau Airport, and as you can see, it's pretty quiet right now. There's not a lot going on. There's no planes in the circuit, nobody's flying. Some of the schools are still operating for solo flights, but other than that, it's pretty quiet. So here we are at the plane, and we're here to update the databases in the Garmin GPSs today. So let's have a look. So we're going to update the two GPSs here. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, so up here is the Garmin GTN 650, and down here the Garmin 430 was. So SIM card, very simple SIM card, just goes right in like this. And you got to make sure that it clicks in place. So now it's in. The second unit has two data cards. So one that goes on the right hand side is for the terrain and obstacle information, and the orange label card is for the navigation data, and that goes into this slot right here. So both of these cards were updated at home, where I downloaded all the database information and put them on the card. So now we want to test to make sure that the database has come up and everything's looking right. So we'll go down here. It's hard to see behind the control lock, but we'll put on the battery master switch, will come on, and the two G5s are coming up because they're connected directly. And then we'll put on the avionics switch, and then the 430 will come on by itself, and the 650 will come on by itself. The 430, I got to put the power button. The transponder comes up all by itself as well. So the first thing that we'll see, if everything works right, is the databases should come up, and it should indicate that we should all be good. So touch screen to continue, and here it indicates that there's an update to do because we have to start in the database update. So we'll push that button there, and everything says updating and verifying. Meanwhile, the 430 is coming up. So the databases are updating up here. We're all good. Everything is current. The proper dates are set. So we can hit continue. Over down here, we've got the proper dates on both the databases. The obstacle expires a little bit later than the aviation database. The aviation database is good until April 23rd, which is good. So okay, we'll push enter, and we'll do enter again, and that's all good. So we'll push continue up here, and all this is good. So everything is good. All the database is updated properly. So while we're here, I thought I'd give you a bit of a tour of the cockpit. So what we have here are the two primary flight instruments, which are the primary flight display and the horizontal situation indicator, or HSI. To the left here we have the airspeed indicator, then the turn coordinator. There's a clock here. There's the suction gauge, which powers this instrument over here, which I'll talk about in a second. We have the carburetor heat gauge. Over on the right hand side we have the altimeter. We have the vertical speed indicator. Now the altimeter is replicated on the moving tape here, and the airspeed indicator is also replicated over here. Then over here we have a replica of this, but this is driven by the vacuum pump, so the attitude indicator. And down here we have the VOR, which is connected to the GPS over here. Down on the radio stack now we have the radio control unit, which allows the selection of the various radios. So we're on this one here. If we switch over to this one, we'd be using this one. Then we have the transponder over here, and down below we have the autopilot control, and below we have the ELT, and we have the USB ports that's used to power various devices like iPads or iPhones, and linked with the autopilot, the go around button That's used if on the a missed approach or takeoff. Over on the right hand side, we have the 2 fuel gauges, right tank, left tank. We have the ammeter, which indicates the rate of charge and discharge of the battery, cylinder head temperature, oil temperature, and oil pressure. Down here, this gauge here is for engine monitoring. So for each of the 6 cylinders, we'll be able to get the temperature of the cylinder heads and the temperature of the exhaust gases. Over here is the manifold pressure, and down here is the tachometer. Then down in the controls here, we have the throttle control, the propeller control used to change the pitch of the propeller, and the mixture control used to lean the fuel to the engine. On the right hand side, below here, we have the flaps control, and then various knobs for the cabin heat and cabin air, and the defrost on the very end over here. Down below in the center console, we have the trim and the rudder trim, the cowling flaps over here, and the fuel selector gauge, which lets it, right now it's at off, but you can switch to left tank, right tank, or both tanks. Below the control yoke, we have various switches for lights over here, and below that we have the circuit breakers, and that's basically it. Well, that's it for the database update and a quick cockpit tour. So stay safe, everybody. Don't forget your social distancing, and don't forget to wash your hands. Talk to you later.